Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to part 2 of this look at the WWE Hall of Fame. We are going through everyone that is in the Hall of Fame and we are finding those superstars that have got Mattel figures. We started yesterday in a massive video. We looked at the likes of Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Andre the Giant, and we are going to have a look at some more massive names. We got up to the class of 2012, so we're going to start with 2013 in this video. Let's start with an absolute legend, Mick Foley. Mick Foley, also known as Cactus Jack, obviously known as Mankind, Dude Love, wrestled in WCW and in WWE, and he had a stint in TNA as well, I believe. He's a former WWE champion, 4-time world champion in total, and that match, that Hell in a Cell match against The Undertaker, I think it is still the most watched match on the WWE network. They did sort of make a Hall of Fame Mick Foley figure. It was Cactus Jack. But it never got released. It found its way here in the UK in like a discount clearance store. They didn't have many, and that is a very rare figure. In fact, I will put a link on screen to the rarest figures from Mattel, because this one definitely features. Yeah, they re-released it in Elite Series 48, so you can get a Cactus Jack. They made a Mankind, I'm thinking like SummerSlam Elite. They made a Dude Love from a recent Elite series. So they've made all the 3 faces of Foley. So yeah, absolute legend. Next up, Bob Backlund. He had a 30-year career and he is still the second longest reigning WWE champion. Thankfully, Mattel finally made a Bob Backlund figure that was available in Elite Series 63. Next, we've got Trish Stratus. She is regarded as one of the greatest women's champions. She is a 7-time women's champion, and Mattel have made a Hall of Fame figure for her. Next up, in my opinion, the greatest Bruno Sammartino. He was wrestling in the 60s and 70s. He has got the longest reign of any WWE champion ever. I believe it's 7 years. And then his second reign was about 4 years. In total, this man held the WWE championship for around 11 years. It is absolutely incredible. He was popular, though, just before WrestleMania started. Had there have been WrestleManias in the 60s and 70s, this guy would have headlined pretty much all of them. He was that big a deal. So absolutely incredible. And we got a figure, Elite 25, and it comes with a Hall of Fame plaque. To my knowledge, this is the only figure that comes with a Hall of Fame plaque. I'm not aware of any others that do that. Very cool, very special Bruno Sammartino. Next up, we got Booker T, 2-time Hall of Famer. Will go into the Hall of Fame again in 2019 with Harlem Heat. But he is in 2013 on his own. He has held 35 championships in total. Obviously had a fantastic run in WCW and then a great run in WWE as well. Can be seen doing commentary. He's usually on the kickoff shows for WWE these days. And they made a Hall of Fame figure for Booker T, based on his probably most iconic WWE character, the King Booker character, which people still love today. Next up, the Ultimate Warrior. Told you we were going to get some big names. Ultimate Warrior main evented WrestleMania 6, one of the most popular superstars ever. I mean, a former WWE champion, Intercontinental champion. Just, he was all over wrestling throughout the 90s. You can get so many Ultimate Warrior figures. You can actually get a Hall of Fame 2-pack. And this comes with Papa Shango. Look at that. So cool. Next, Jake the Snake Roberts. Held no titles in WWE. Didn't win any Royal Rumbles, or I don't think he won any King of the Rings either. But still one of the biggest stars they ever had. Honestly, he didn't need championships. His matches, his promos, just so psychological. Used to come down to the ring with a snake, and he was just so popular, so cool. He was one of my favourites when I was growing up. You can get a great Hall of Fame figure of Jake the Snake Roberts. I believe it actually comes with a couple of snakes, which is awesome. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. Next, we've got Lita. She went in 2014. She's a 4-time women's champion, and she is now in a tag team with Trish Stratus. We should be seeing her again with Trish. There's big rumours that they're going to take on the Boss and Hug Connection at WrestleMania 35. We'll have to see if that pans out or not. But yeah, they're always making little appearances. And you can get a Lita figure in Elite Series 41. Next up, we got Paul Bearer, famously the manager of The Undertaker and, of course, Kane. He was in wrestling for years, managing other people before those guys. And you can get a Hall of Champions Paul Bearer figure. Next up, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, founding member of the NWO in WCW, 4-time Intercontinental Champion, just one of the most important wrestlers of the 90s. Used to love that Razor Ramon character as well. You can get a fantastic Razor Ramon defining moments figure. And of course, they've made quite a few Scott Hall NWO figures as well. Next up, Macho Man Randy Savage. He headlined the class of 2015. He is a 2-time WWE champion, 6-time WCW champion, won the King of the Ring 1987, main evented WrestleMania 5. I mean, it goes on and on and on. You can get fantastic figures of the Macho Man. Take a look at these two defining moments figures. They have made WCW Macho Man figures as well. Honestly, you can get figures of pretty much any part of his career. An absolute legend. Next, we've got Rikishi, Intercontinental Champion, 3-time Tag Champion. Started way back in the early 90s when he was in the Head Shrinkers, the tag team, the Head Shrinkers. That's how he started with WWE. His sons are the Usos. Rikishi is the father of the Usos. There's a great Rikishi figure in the Hall of Champions line. Next up, one of my all-time favourite women's wrestlers, Alundra Blayze, one of the greatest of all time. Competed in Japan, competed in USA for WWE and WCW. Famously threw the WWE title in the trash when she left that company. But they brought her back. They put her into the Hall of Fame. She's also, get this, a champion at Monster Trucks. Like, she's got her own monster truck called Medusa. It's incredible. The woman is incredible, and you can get a Flashback Elite. Next up, Larry Zbysko famously had a feud with Bruno Sammartino, and actually Sammartino inducted Larry Zbysko into the Hall of Fame. He's a 2-time AWA champion. And you can get a Larry Zbysko figure. It's hard to find, though. You have to get the rare Nitro Notables pack. I say rare because it never made it over here in the UK. And I don't see many people talking about it in the US either. So I don't know how many were made or where they all are. But in that pack is a Larry Zbysko figure. Next, Kevin Nash, aka Diesel, another founding member of the NWO, four-time WCW Heavyweight Champion, former WWE Champion, nine-time WCW Tag Team Champion. In Elite Series 16, they actually had Kevin Nash and Diesel figures. You could get both, and both looked awesome as well, so very, very cool. Next, we got the Bushwhackers. This was a bit of a comedy team. They didn't really win championships or achieve a great deal. They were just used for, like, comedy spots. They were like the New Day of their day. In fact, they were more like the Heavy Machinery of their day. But they were a lot of fun. They were super popular. And did you know that Meltzer actually gave them a 5-star rating? Because before they were the Bushwhackers, they were known as the Sheepherders. And apparently they had an absolute classic match. So yeah, don't think that they were rubbish at wrestling or anything like that. They were great, but they were just used as a comedy act in WWE. So for their whole career, they went into the Hall of Fame, and you can get a Legends Battle Pack of the Bushwhackers. As well as that, they made a normal Battle Pack, but it wasn't in the colours that people really recognised. It was in a lesser known colours, so I'm not sure that one was as popular. Next, Sting, the Icon, 30-year career, 15 World Championships, the Icon of WCW. Arguably, no one was the face of WCW more than Sting. Sting and Ric Flair would actually wrestle the final WCW match on Nitro when it was taken over. And apparently, Sting versus Hulk Hogan was the biggest selling pay-per-view ever for WCW. I think it took place in 1997. They've made loads of Sting figures. You can see a couple on screen now. Surfer Sting defining moments and the Crow Sting. Look at that. What a great figure. Next up, we got the Godfather. He was a two-time USWA Unified World Heavyweight Champion. Former Intercontinental Champion. Used to be Kama Mustafa. Used to be Papa Shango. But he goes in as the Godfather. And they made a Godfather Elite. Elite Series 39. Was a really good figure, actually. Came with loads of accessories. Looked really cool. And we've already mentioned the fact you can get that Papa Shango in that Hall of Fame 2-pack with the Ultimate Warrior. That, of course, based on when those two were feuding. Next, we got the Big Boss Man. 4-time Hardcore Champion. Former Tag Team Champion. Had 2 big runs in WWE. First as a face. And then he came back as a heel during the Attitude Era. You can get figures of both. You can get him in the early 90s. The Network Spotlight looks cool. And you can get his Attitude Era when he wore all black, feuded with the likes of Big Show and The Undertaker. And that is Elite Series 47. Next, we got Kurt Angle. He won gold at the Olympics in 1996. 2-time NCAA champion. Multiple championships. One of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Yeah, you can get a fantastic entrance. Great if you want his, like, debut attire. They've made elites that look a lot more like he does now. So, yeah, very, very cool. Next, Teddy Long. Theodore Long. He's been in the business since 1985. He's been a ref. He's been a manager. He's been a general manager. He was actually Pro Wrestling Illustrated's Manager of the Year in 1990. He achieved a lot in the business. And so Mattel rewarded him with a Build-A-Figure. He doesn't even get his own figure. I hate these Build-A-Figures. But, well, at least there was a Theodore Long. But you just had to buy a few other figures and then put it together yourself. Next, Diamond Dallas Page, 3-time WCW champion. Wrestled quite late in his career, but was a major star for WCW. Then he moved over to WWE, started a feud with The Undertaker. Really is one of the best. He's better known now for his yoga, which has really helped a lot of former superstars. You can get Elite Series 36. Beth Phoenix next, former Divas champion, 3-time Women's champion. She's been married to Edge since 2016. I thought they married a lot earlier than that. But yes, she is Mrs. Edge, or should I say Edge is Mr. Phoenix? I don't know. You can get Basic Series 21 or a Battle Pack. I think that was Series 1 where she came with Santino Marella. Next up, we've got Ravishing Rick Rude. Rude challenged for the WWE title in a great feud he had against the Ultimate Warrior. He's a 3-time WCW champ, former Intercontinental champ. He helped found D-Generation X. I don't think he's going into the Hall of Fame again, though. I don't think he's going in with DX, which is a bit of a shame because he did help found them. He was there at the very start. You can get a great Ravishing Rick Rude figure in Elite Series 40. Next up, the most decorated tag team ever, the Dudley Boys. They won 18 to 23 World Tag titles. You could get some great Elite figures of those guys. Elite Series, I think it was 45. Only a few more to go. Next up, Mark Henry, the world's strongest man. I watched a great documentary on the network about Mark Henry. I really recommend it because he is the world's strongest man. Apparently, he still holds loads of records for lifting the most weight for different things. So he's got the record for squats, deadlifts, total record. Apparently, no one has lifted more than Mark Henry in the history of America. And, like, he's got several world records. So, yeah, absolutely incredible. You can get a Fan Central figure. And they also made Elite Series 32. Next, Hillbilly Jim. He was one of the biggest stars in the 1980s, but didn't win any titles. Really bizarre. I'm sure he was in the Rock and Wrestling cartoon from the 1980s. That was a massive deal. And super, super popular. But yeah, just crazy. He never won any titles. You can get a Legends figure for Hillbilly Jim. And finally, we're going to end on a massive star, Goldberg. Goldberg, who went in as the headline act in 2018. He had a fantastic 173 winning streak. He was undefeated. Apparently, that might have been inflated a little bit. Might not be technically true. But still, it was an incredible achievement. He went on to win the WCW Championship. Of course, we would see him in WWE defeating Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. Goldberg is a former Universal Champion. Absolutely incredible achievements, and you can get an entrance grade of Goldberg. How about that then, guys? We've had a look at every single person that's gone into the Hall of Fame up to 2018 that has had a Mattel figure made. There are other people that have gone in, but sadly Mattel hasn't made figures of those. Hopefully they get round to doing it one day, and then we can do another video. We'll probably do another video in the future looking at the class of 2019. At the moment, that class isn't finished yet, so that's why I didn't want to include them. You got people like Harlem Heat, though, that have had figures. You got people like D-Generation X that have had figures. The Honky Tonk Man that has had figures. So the list goes on, but we're not going to focus on those here. And that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this look at the Hall of Fame. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you did enjoy the video, give it a like. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. And hopefully, See you again next time. Bye for now.